to the paper, the grass is always greener. I don't do no labels, I call it how I see it.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of a No Label Convo. Here, my boy Nell.
Yo.
Shouts out to everybody that's been subscribing on YouTube as normal, liking on Instagram, sharing on Instagram. Continue to follow, get those followers up, man. We trying to hit before the end of the year.
2K.
3K before the end of the year, man. Get us there.
3K. Let's go for it.
Let's get to the sponsor.
Word. Shout out to our sponsor. Shout out to Guap Coin.
Guap Coin.
Cryptocurrency for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Tap in, get some financial literacy, understand what's going on in this financial space, man. It's a lot moving, so we want to be on top of it before anything. Today, we got a guest, very well-rounded individual. He's got his hand in a little bit of everything, and if it's moving, I'm sure this man is close by. I mean, you've heard of Ball for a Cause, you know what I mean? Buffalo Festival, Queen City Classic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He's in real estate, philanthropy, all that. You know what I mean? So it'd be good to pick his brain a little bit, see what he got cooking. What's good, Lindsey?
What's going on? What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Appreciate you pulling up, bro.
No problem.
Yes, sir. How you feeling today?
Feeling good, man. It's, we 2 weeks outside of the BeauFleuve Music and Arts Festival, so that's coming up at the end of the month. But I'm just feeling good, just the grind time right now. Guerrilla promo, guerrilla marketing.
Word. Yeah, you on your press run. I know how that grind is different.
Yeah. So it's definitely different. It's always like that 2-3 weeks outside. But it's been consistent throughout, since we dropped to save the date. So, but it's been good to just, always come out and just talk to different media outlets and so forth like that. But it was a great time.
Facts.
Yeah.
Word. So, all right, I want to tap into kind of like about you. Like, how'd you get your start? Like, what kind of person were you like in high school? Like,
yeah. So, growing up, I grew up in a unique setting. So I grew up predominantly like in a suburban setting. I went to Cheektowaga Central, but then I also grew up in a city setting. So I always said like I had like the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? I was able to be able to maneuver and see how the suburban lifestyle really was. And being like, at that time, when I was growing up, it was like one of like few, you know what I'm saying? Like now it's like a multitude of us out in the suburban schools, but like I was one of few, like in the neighborhood that I lived in, like I was the only like black family that within, 2 miles, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, you had that dynamic. So like growing up, I was able to hear like a lot of different styles of music, like from, obviously, the hip hop, the R&B and so forth like that, but also tap into, rock and roll and country and so forth like that. So, like it's a Metallica concert and Motley Crue concert going on right now at Orchard Park. I would love to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I, like not only did I hear it, but like when I was playing sports, like that was what was being played in the speakers. It wasn't like I'd be low key jealous of like the athletes now. Like y'all get to listen to so much stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't get to live, we ain't get to listen to that. So
and you was a 3-sport athlete, right?
yeah, so like growing up, I just was like just straight athlete, So like from the time I was a kid up until throughout early college, just straight athlete. So I played football was like my sport, basketball, baseball, and then got into track. So, but then like just naturally, just like once again in that suburban setting, like I know how to play everything. You know what I'm saying? So like I knew how to golf, I knew how to play hockey, I knew how to skate, I knew how to play, volleyball. I know how to play like everything. Cause like at that time, like kids don't be outside no more. You know what I'm saying? So like we was outside all the time. So like when you're outside all the time and you outside in these different centers, like you playing everything. Like so I'm learning, but I'm playing at the same time. Like I don't know nothing about hockey. That like just naturally just never grew up, but I'm like, I know how to roller skate, I know how to put on a goalie pad, I know how to, stop a goal, I know how to hit a certain shot. I know how to play soccer. I know how to hit a golf ball. You know what I'm saying? So like, I go out there and compete at that. You know what I'm saying? So, just in that realm where like it made me well-rounded and just being an athlete in sports. So, just throughout all high school, like that's pretty much what it was. So obviously, in high school, like if you're an athlete, like you pretty everybody pretty much know who the athletes are and so forth like that. So, so that's what it really was like growing up, like coming through like, elementary school, high school was just athletics, just, kind of just, not being in the in crowd, but just like not purposely, you know what I'm saying? Just, it was just a
Doing you.
genuine and authentic thing. Yeah.
So one thing I noticed like in our community is like a lot of us tie our identity to like sports and like athletics and stuff like that. 'Cause I know I did it, and it's like I remember once I graduated, I was like, damn, like who am I without necessarily playing this sport for an institution or whoever. Like, was it hard for you to shift your gears from sports all the time once you graduated?
Yeah, so like once I graduated, I dabbled in the college football for a little bit at Buff State, and that's when I kind of like drifted off from it because originally I was supposed to go to I was looking to go to Morgan State. That was like my thing was like always like to go away for school. And
Is that a HBCU?
HBCU, yeah. So I was always to go away for school is like, and I always wanted to go to HBCU. So like I was like just talking to a lot of coaches and then just like send a lot of things out, just applying that because like not only was it in athletics, like I was also good in school, academically. So like I had like applied stuff like that to like Clark Atlanta, North Carolina A&T, Howard, Morgan State, Norfolk State. Those like the schools I like wanted to go to. And I actually went like on like a unofficial recruiting trip to Morgan State, and also I had one set up for Norfolk State. And I went to Morgan State, and it was a great time. It was a great time, and like what sold me was like so much fun. I remember like one of the football players that was part of the team was like, "Yo, like, man, you might as well not even go down there to Norfolk State. Like them boys' country. Like everybody from up here is like, we from like Baltimore, D.C., New York City, Philly, stuff like that. Everybody from down there, from down south, like you gonna fit more in up here." And I kind of like extra soda with all the other extracurriculars that was going on. So we were just supposed to go to go to Morgan State. So then I almost gotta tell the story, but it was like I kind of gotta tell the story so it makes sense how I ended up at Buff State.
Go for it.
So leading up to going to Morgan State, obviously I like had some calls coming to the house like early on, like I had like a cousin who actually played for Morgan State. And he was like a senior. He was like a senior as I was like coming into high school. He was already playing for Morgan State as I was coming into high school. So like, he was like on top of me like when I was in like middle school, early high school, like we're playing and stuff like that. He's like, and then like when he became a senior, graduated, I was coming in. He was like, "Yo, I got this cousin that's up top," and there was a couple more guys from up here that actually was getting looked at from Morgan. So leading up to that, we get in the calls, be on the phone with somebody, be on the phone with a coach, and the next it'd be like, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" He's like, "Hold on 1 second," and then be cheerleader, the head cheerleader on the phone, like, "Hey, how you doing? We can't wait to meet you." Blah, 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 blah. So,
so what sport is this for?
This for football.
Football. Okay.
Yeah. So I go down there. So it was like a Friday. So that me come down on the weekend. It was like March was like a late recruit because it was like a couple of guys that did it. So we get down there and we pull right up on campus, right at the bridge. If anybody went to Morgan State, you know what the bridge is, right? So we pull right up to the bridge. And I'm with my parents. I'm with two of my sisters, and just everybody outside on the bridge. Everybody. Like I don't know if anybody like remember like Bengal Paws at Buff State. It was like that times like 10. It was like Bengal Paws but being outside, right? So to my parents or my dad, it's looking like ain't nobody in school. Right? Ain't nobody in school. But I'm looking like, yo, boy, and I know like they watching, see how I'm looking like. At that time, like, this was before the BBL and stuff like that, man. You seeing it, right? So I'm like, golly. You know what I'm saying? So we get out the car, we walking through campus. Like, literally, as I'm walking through campus, like, people walking, I got some shit in my, like, as I'm, like, walking through campus, like, people are, like, literally walking up, like, "Hey, what's going on, Lindsey?" Like, I don't know who these people are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, "What's going on, Lindsey? We heard a lot about you." Like, from Greek fraternities, for just regular people, whatever have you. So I'm like, "Oh, you know what I mean?"
Yeah, it's a warm welcome.
Yeah. So we go through like the whole like campus tour, go meet with like the wide receiver and the DB coach, meet with them or whatever have you, and then like we like spin to the to like the gym area, like where like the basketball gym is at, and like my cousin who would play for the team, he was now become like a grad assistant. He was like, we got him from here, and like as he's saying that, so my parents went off. They went about their day rest of the time, and I noticed that the cheerleaders was practicing in there. Oh, okay, I see what they doing. So we end up linking with the cheerleaders. Like, you know, whatever. So the next day, like, I don't go back with my parents. I'm just with the fellas, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. So I go back in the hotel room. Like, I go back to my parents' hotel room. My dad ironing his shirt. So how was the visit? I'm like, yeah, man, that was great, man. I can't wait to come down here. You know, ready to go. He's like, yeah. I don't think this.
I don't know about that.
Right. And I'm like, I'm crushed. I'm like, what? I'm like, I already told Norfolk State I wasn't coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hell no. So I'm crushed. I'm sitting in the hotel room, quiet. So now, being that I told Norfolk State, like, nah, never mind. So my grandfather at the time, when he was living in New York City. So New York City's only like 2.5 hours away from Baltimore. So we drive up there. So I'm just quiet the rest of the trip. Just like Saturday, it's Friday, so I ended up linking with my parents like midday Saturday. we end up leaving like going to New York City like Sunday morning. I ain't talk the rest of the trip. I ain't say nothing the rest of the trip. I'm just quiet. I'm like, man, what the hell just happened? I'm like, he just crushed me. I was ready to come
So
down.
what was his reasoning for saying that this wasn't the place for you?
So his reason was like,
distractions?
he's like, man, like, a lot of comments said, like, man, we pulled up, ain't nobody in class. Like basically, like, you get down here, you're gonna be out of here.
There's too many distractions.
You're gonna be out of here in a semester. I'm like, what? So I'm like, all right. So the crazy part is I'm gonna spin back to that. So all right, well, let me go holler at Buff State, you know, and you know, see what's up with that. I'm gonna do Buff State for like a semester, a year, prove them I can do this thing. But I told my parents, I'm like, yo, like, if I do Buff State, if I stay home, right, I'm not staying at home. I'm staying on campus. I want the real live college experience.
Naturally.
So I'm showing them that I can do this, right? So we work all that out, and I end up going to Buff State. So like fast forward, like one of the guys that played with me in high school, before Eddie Green, he ended up going to Morgan State. Like he was one of the other guys that was recruiting. It was like two of the dudes from two of the guys from Cleve Hill that got recruited to go to Morgan State as well too. One of the guys ended up coming to Buff State as well with me. And we were supposed to be like roommates. Long story short, Eddie Green dropped out in the first semester. You know what I'm saying? And then I think the other dude from Cleve, I think he ended up finishing out. I don't know if he did all four, but it was like my boy like ended up like dropping out, you know what I'm saying, in the first semester. So like, I'm like, all right. So yeah, so that's how to like, so like, you know, kind of get back to like kind of like the transition. So like when I went to Buff State, it was like at the time like Buff State wasn't doing nothing, like wasn't winning nothing. Like our locker room was a cage. You know what I'm saying? Like it's legit like it's a cage. It's probably no bigger than this studio right here. Like legit like a cage. It was outside the locker room. Like we was inside of a cage. Like we didn't condition. Like it wasn't like no real push. I'm like, yo, like where I'm coming from, you know what I'm saying? Like my high school facility was better than this. And then like, you know, I'm just like, I ain't feeling this. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, but I was like active on campus. Like I was active in, you know, with the student organization. I was just like active, like, you know, being like one of the, like going above state at that time was like, you have so much of a New York City population and out of city population on campus that like, oh, like, and they try to like downplay like Buffalo. So like you had this dude from the town who was like, yo, like this motherfucker cool as hell. Can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
Okay. This, I used to cut like he cool as hell. So like I just got educated in the on campus at Buff State right out the gate. So being with that and then with football, just is like this ain't really hitting.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what happened.
What position did you play?
At college, DB. And throughout like playing, like man, I played a little bit of everything. Like my varsity years was slot and DB. Also like, you know, special teams and stuff like that. Then like growing up, man, running back, DB, free safety, quarterback, stuff like that.
Got you. Word.
Yeah.
So And now that you are like a football coach, like how long have you been in that? And like, is that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, so like right after I got done like just basically just like playing per se, I got into coaching pretty early. Like I got into coaching in 2010. And I got into coaching like just my love for the game. You know what I'm saying? And I actually started my own, like I just didn't go to coaching. I started like my own like little league football organization. It was called the New York Warriors. So I just like went head first, crazy shit. Went head first. Like 22 years old, started my own youth football organization, Pop Warner football organization. Had about like 125, 150 kids out there in Amherst, you know, at Windermere Elementary School, and just got right into coaching right out the gate. You know, just, you know, right to it. And then did Little League football for 3 years. And then I got into high school football at Burgard High School. So I did that for a year. And then while I was actually at Burgard, one of my former teammates from Cheektowaga came up to the field, was like, yo, Mr. Hickson was our OAD. He's like he looking for you. Like, you know, he looking for a coach for basketball. Because I was like, so what I did with my youth football is like I created a year-round program. So I went from football to basketball, and then we had like off-season stuff like with track and like swimming, stuff like that for the kids. Because like the philosophy behind it was called Sports Academy, was that it's like growing up, like when we went from football to basketball to track or baseball, whatever it was, like we didn't see our coach until like the next year, right? So the philosophy behind our Sports Academy was like, yeah, it's its own entity, but it's still a part of like my little football teams that like we keep our kids together and we doing all these different activities, exposing them to different things throughout the year.
Keep them involved year round,
Yeah,
so they
keep
can't
them
get
involved
into
year
the other
round.
shit.
So like from Little League football, then we ended up getting to AAU basketball, right? So like I was coaching AAU basketball, and so that's what I had Marcus coming like, yo, they looking. So then I went to Cheektowaga, coached modified basketball for 2 years at Cheektowaga, and in 2 years we lost one game. And at the same time, was doing modified football. So I was at Cheektowaga for 2 years. Within that 2 years, 2-3 years, we brought the school's first sectional championship for varsity. And then I had the pleasure of going to, got invited, one of my boys at the time, he was like, yo, I'm about to take this job at Park School, at Park School. He's like, would you be willing to join? I'm like, okay, that's an elevation a little bit. You know, Park School at the time, like, you know, at that time at the Park, we had Jordan Noah, Hunter, and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? We had a Division I, the lineup was, the shortest guy in the lineup was 6'4". You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the lineup went D1, D2. Yeah, obviously Jordan went, you know, he's the NBA champion right now. We had Noah, we had Daniel, we had
Kyle,
we had Kyle, we had Hunter, we had what's my boy name? Start with an S. Too.
Yeah, Park started going crazy.
He banged on it.
Park used to suck when we was in school.
Yeah, when not like they started going
they just
crazy.
turned up. Yeah,
they turned up crazy. So I'm like, okay. So I went there, was there. With, I was like his assistant coach on JV, assistant coach on varsity for basketball, and then he went up to just varsity, so I'm taking over the JV job. But like I wasn't doing football at that time, so I'm like, I need to get back to football. So Joe Licata, who is he was a football legend in himself from Western New York, we ended up connecting.
Okay.
And I've been in the last 3 years I was with him, coaching on the defensive side at Timon. We got a championship there.
He coaching there now? Is he still there?
Nah, so this is how I get a JFK job. So from JFK job, Joe ended up taking a job at UB as a coach. At UB, he was the quarterback's coach, offensive analyst. So he was taking that job. So like basically like not the band was breaking up, but the band was like breaking up a little bit. Yeah. So like at that time, like so now at this run, I'm coaching for like 7 years straight, going from like football to basketball. I'm coaching football and then going right to JV basketball head coach at Wilson. I'm like, man, I need a little bit of a break, a little bit, right? But then a call came, like, yo, JFK called and they coach. They asked about you. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it was literally 3 weeks before the season.
Wow.
Like 3 weeks before the season started. Right out the mud with it. So yeah, that's how I get in. So now I'm the heck. This will be my second year starting next week, Saturday.
Word, that's fire. Yeah, man, that definitely takes a lot to definitely like balance those things and just like shit, doing it that quick. Like you gotta really be in that mindset. You gotta be ready because you mentoring all these kids. Like they looking to you. For that leadership.
So it was a unique situation because so like I'm a big person for like writing things down. So like with the JFK, like I put it like this: is that any opportunity I take, I like to build it up from the ground up. So like I never want to hop in nothing where it's already like up there, you know. So I like to take it from the ground up and building it and re-envision it, rebrand it, remarketing it. So like as you said, like before we got on, was like I never heard of JFK. That's great. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Because but me growing up in Cheektowaga, going to Cheektowaga Central, it's like that was like one of our rivals, and they was like these like that Cody Elliott. They had a couple other boys that was like all right, and them boys was tough. But then like kind of like after like those guys graduated, it kind of like teetered off a little bit, and like the focus wasn't on athletics, where the focus on the athletics from like now in the reverse with Cheektowaga was like that 2000 to 2006 class was like we was like the first generation of like the athletics at Cheektowaga Central, right? Okay. Like we was just like we was like, okay, we breaking in the door for, at that time, like we never been, like the school never been to the section, never been to the Ralph, you know what I'm saying? Like we having winning seasons, like from like modified to undefeated seasons at JV to, making it to the section, but not making it to the Ralph. So like we breaking that door right then and there. So now Cheektowaga seen it. So now after we leave, now they going to the sectionals. They almost make like when I coached at Cheektowaga, like we made it to the Final Four. Now they got the brand new turf. They got 7 different jerseys. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then even like the same thing with Cleveland Field, same way. Like they had a run where they had great athletics with football and so forth like that. So, and the same thing with Maryville, whereas like JFK went on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of teetered downward. The Pew, all the other Cheektowaga schools went up. So, so they started a program, but just the investment wasn't there.
Gotcha.
But when I was, first at a coach, I was like, I knew where I wanted to get to. And I wrote down like these certain schools call or these opportunities come up, I'm taking them. You know what I'm saying? And crazy enough, JFK was on that list.
Nice.
What were the other schools on that list?
So I wrote this down probably like 10 years ago. JFK was on that list. Hutch Tech was on that list.
Engineers.
They needed that. They needed that.
JFK was on that list. Hutch Tech was on that list. I would have did McKinley. Trying to think who else was on. I'm trying to think off the top who else was on that list. Maryville was on the list because that was bad blood. I think that was like it was like 4 schools there. It was like Hutch Tech, McKinley, JFK, and also there's like a few little schools here and there on the outskirts. It might have been like whatever, but like I remember vividly JFK because I remember going back to my notes and seeing that. I even had if I could find it, I even have an email like this is like 2012. I actually reached out to the AD at the time, like, hey, if you have any open positions, like let me know, and I sent my resume. At that time, she didn't. So it's crazy, like it's all full circle. So like, just in that standpoint, like, and I couldn't really turn it down because of the historic value of that right there and what it can do for others. Like, I don't think people really understand the dynamic in like high school sports here in Western New York. Like, in the football side, one of 2 black and minority head coaches in the suburban schools. Yeah. And that's from, you probably can go all the way down the PA line, all the way up to Rochester. It's only 2 of us.
That's crazy.
Overall, from the PA line to go up to Rochester, I think it's like 5. And that's including Maritime, Bennett, McKinley, now Hutch Tech, me, Glenn. It's like 6. Between the PA line and there. And if I'm missing
that's
anybody,
crazy. That's just crazy because it's like most people know about the issue of racism, but Western New York has a particular like type of racism and how they box people out. Man, that's definitely I'm proud to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's super dope. So it's just that opportunity to be able to break in that door and be in that scenario, like now building something from like literally from nothing and be able to take it up. Now you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like everything from here on is gonna be historical. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's door and now I'm in a position where I can put
others like myself in a position to be a coach and then now build with us, or eventually, like, yo, if there's an opportunity that comes up that you can then become a head coach somewhere else, do that. Yeah. Because like it needs to be more of us in these settings.
That's a fact. And one thing, like where Buffalo, where we mess up at as a school system or as a district, you have to like be able to teach. You have to teach them at the school in order to be a coach at the school.
Yeah,
and they give seniority to like gym teachers.
That's what the thing is. That's at every school. Like every school has like that same like. But the suburban and the private schools have a little bit more flexibility with how they go about and doing it, right? So every school has to, every school district does that same thing. Like they put it out to their teachers as part of their teacher contracts. They put it out there so the teachers have first dibs at it, right? But they have a little bit of flexibility of how they go about. Like with BPS, is like if a teacher said they want to do it and that teacher don't know nothing about nothing, he could take the job because he's the teacher.
I know.
Yeah, right. So but like with the suburban schools, like, a teacher can ask for it, but they still would interview him, you know what I'm saying, to see if that's the right fit, and then, whatever. So if it's a non-teacher and the non-teacher's both equal, then they got to give it to the teacher. But if that teacher ain't panning out, but you got this strong candidate that's on the outside,
you got to take
if the AD really bang with you, he gonna make sure it happen,
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's something they definitely need to adjust with BPS.
Yeah.
Bro,
they make a hedge with like Micah over at Hush Tech, man, phenomenal. And like he put in them dudes to be in that position, and I think man, y'all gonna see like Tech being in a competitive situation. You're gonna see like that's an ideal situation for kids. Like you having a historically educated system at Hush Tech. Why would a parent not want their kid to go to Tech? You know what I'm saying? And then now everything is there. Now you just gotta have the right people in place. And then I think you got the right person in place with Mike over there. And I think you got the right, I believe they had the right people, or gonna have the right people in place at the basketball. So like when I was in high school, Tech was a dominant force in football and basketball.
It was nice.
Yeah. So they had a run from like, I think it was like 2000 until like 2006. They had a run of just straight athletics, between Rodney Pierce and Muhammad and all of them and Sammy.
I forgot about Rodney Pierce.
Yeah. So like they had a run of like athletics. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's dope. So I know you spoke on like liking to start things from the ground up.
Yo, we here, bro. We here.
You started things from the ground up. So like, what got you making like what made you want to start like the Ball for a Cause and like Queen City classes and stuff like that?
Yeah, so with Balling for a Cause, it actually came off of me doing parody. So like that was part of the college, right? So at Buff State. So I got right into my freshman year, very integrated in campus. I was part of ASO, CSO, all the different like clubs, student union. I was part of the student union board, which oversee the Fall Fest and the Spring Fest. So right out the gate, I was involved on campus, right? Yeah. And you have to be like, if you want to be involved in like anything as far as like college-wise, you got to be involved in the organizations on campus. You got to be involved in
That's one thing I wish I knew going into it. Like I didn't. Yeah. The one reason why I finished college was because of student orgs. Like that's the only thing that really kept me like, oh, I'm learning.
Yeah, you got to be involved. You got to be involved in it. You got to be involved in the student. If you're not involved in student organizations, you're not having a real college experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at that time, like, how old are y'all?
29.
26. So y'all missed the golden era of just partying, right? So
I think I had some pretty
good
partying time in my life.
We was on the edge.
No, y'all ain't catch the golden era. Y'all got like remnants of it. Like y'all got like,
But you 33?
34.
34.
So what makes it the golden era?
So the golden era of, listen. This is a podcast in itself. The golden era of party promotion. It wasn't just Buffalo. It was the landscape of just nightlife party promotion. Mm-hmm. And like this could legit, like if somebody was to like document and like sit like every promoter down who was like just from Buffalo, like you can legit make a dope ass Netflix documentary and people would sit in and tune into that shit. Like the intricate parts, like how that shit, like, so put it like this. So I came in 06. So I fall 06. That's like my first semester of college promotion. Mm-hmm. A little bit prior to that, I would say like the golden era started like Fall 05, Spring 06. Fall 05, Spring 06. That's when it really like started. And I would say that is because I'm gonna almost tell you when it started. There was a Springfest concert at Buff State that featured Busta Rhymes, Remy Ma, and I want to say who was Fat? No, Fat Joe wasn't on. I think it was Busta.
Busty and Remy at Buff State, they're gonna go insane.
Yo, listen. But I want to say Remy was on that bill, but I wasn't. That was like I was about to graduate like a month later, so I'm going to the concert. When I tell you, Busta killed it. Like by far the best concert I've been to ever. And I've seen everybody. Killed it. Energy, nonstop moving, everybody moving, dancing, hours straight. Hit upon hit. This is in 2006. He still got another catalog after 2006. Yeah. Hit upon hit. DJ Neff was actually was DJing. He had the after party to that.
Come on.
And it was a place called The Pier. The Pier is out where the Outer Harbor is at. Mm-hmm. Club, everybody going out there. Crazy. Like y'all didn't never seen The Pier. The Pier was crazy. So Busta kills it. So we come in Fall 06. Now, we came on campus right out the gate. First night we moved in was Friday night party, Saturday night party, Sunday night party. And we had themes to the party. Mixy Mondays, Tipsy Tuesdays, Wet Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Freaky Fridays, Saucy Saturdays, Sleeping Sundays.
Come on.
Wet Wednesday.
Okay, golden era.
So, but it was a different way of how you party each and every day. Mm-hmm. So like Mixy Mondays was more or less like how we kind of like kicking in here. We may be in our dorm room. We may be having some drinks. Invite a couple people over to the dorm room. That's like your Mixy Mondays, right? Your tipsy Tuesdays / $2 Tuesdays was like it may be a little bit more elevated. Maybe like a campus bar like Witch Doctor or Stateside, which is like right behind Buff State on Grand Street. And there was another one by Buff. They kept switching the names over the years, but you would go there with $2 to get in and then $2 drinks. And that was on Tuesdays. So that was like a bar activity.
That's crazy.
So like that was on Tuesday. So that was at the bars. But then you also had like the fraternities and stuff. They was doing their things on Reed Street, on Bird Street, and so forth like that. And then Wet Wednesdays was a combination of all of those. So that was like you almost can go downtown a little bit on Chippewa. You almost can do a little bar. You can chill at the crib and keep it moving. Now Thursday was like the tempo up to the weekend. So Thirsty Thursdays was like, all right. Ain't nobody going to class on Friday because it's about to be so crazy on Thursday, and you be back at Stateside and be crazy. So like the urban part, the black crowd, Hispanic crowd, just or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like we went to the bar right there behind Buff State with Stateside Witch Doctor. They switched the name over the years, and then sometimes you dabble downtown. But Thursday was like crazy. Everybody was coming out. Everybody, even if you couldn't get inside, you was outside. Right. You was outside. And so now Fridays and Saturdays was limited to the big parties. Now, y'all big parties now was 200, 300 people, right? That's a huge flop back then. Huge flop. So Friday, Saturday was the big parties. Only big promoters. That was the Tom ballrooms. That was if we was doing some at a like we was doing shit at different places, right? But like it had to be for spots that could hold at least 800 people. At least 800 people. The Spears, the Town ballrooms, the venues, which was different names back then. The Club Infinities, the other event space ballrooms. Like you wasn't just doing no little shit on Friday and Saturday. That's for the big boys. So and the real talk. So like at that time, like the ballroom, which was the biggest, the state, but that was like the garden. We used to call that shit the garden, right? So like the garden was the ballroom. So at that time you could fit 1,000 people in the ballroom. Yeah. You know, so like you can walk in if you ever seen a party in the ballroom that had like less than 750, it was a flop. Now imagine that now. Like now you don't see parties with 750 people. No. Like you pack out like these little bars and it's like 250 people. Oh, this shit was packed. No, like 750 people. And then I'm saying 750,000 plus people coming out again the next night. And you're doing it every week.
Oh, so how long did you say the golden era lasted?
So the golden era, I would say was from fall 2006 to I say 2012. 2012 was like a good, like it kind of fizzled it somewhat into 2013, like spring 2013. You still had a glimpse of that, but like the people who was a part of like that 2006 to 2012, they was getting a little older. We was getting to like our mid 20s and stuff like that. So like we was partying other places. It wasn't
Now,
really like the college.
Do you think it was a gradual fall off, or was it like an abrupt stop to like how the party?
It was an abrupt stop. It was an abrupt stop because you had venues like decreasing their. You had, as a number fact, you had the venues decreasing like their capacities, what they were allowing, right? Venues kind of like closing a little bit, but then also the age of social media. So the age of social media played into. It's a gift and a curse. So it played into not many people coming out because I can see everything that's happening in the party, right? I can see if the party's lit just yet. I can see. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna tap on your IG live. I'm gonna tap on your IG story to see how the party looking. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapping everybody to see how it's looking before I go there. And to go there, you couldn't do that.
You had to be there.
Oh, there wasn't no IG stories back then.
No, it was. But we had like by like 2012, 2013, you had IG though.
You had IG.
You had IG. So like,
Facebook was the main one. Facebook.
Yeah.
IG.
So you didn't. There was ways that you could figure out who was there because like promoters not taking pictures. But in the golden era, you didn't have that. You didn't have and we had to tempo each party up so crazy. Like you couldn't just say, "Oh, we're gonna do a party next week." Nah. Your party at least had to have 2 to 3 months you talking about it. And I'm talking about you going
whole album rollout.
It's a legit no. I'm being real with you. Like it was legit like an album rollout because like you had to treat it like an album. The way you put your flyer together. Like we had to go through a whole process, how we want the flyer to look. Revisions of the flyer. Who we want to DJ. There's going to be intricate who you want to have on the DJ lineup. Have they been to Buffalo soon? He wasn't, and we really wasn't. It wasn't a whole lot of luxury. So we was bringing in the Nuffs, the DJ Envies, the Funkmaster Flexes, the big names, the DJ Magic, the Young Childs, the big names. You know what I'm saying? So like how you had to intricately play each part, like how you want the ladies to pay. Every part about the party was thought about in detail. Yeah. And then like if I'm thinking, so say for instance we in August now, I couldn't say, we're gonna do a back to school party next week. No, like if I'm doing a party right now, I'm thinking about, we thinking about early November. And we're gonna start talking about it in September. Now we talk about September, my whole team, we tagging your Facebook. We tagging your Facebook walls, like literally copying, pasting. Mm-hmm. Like, you get the group text. We tagging your Facebook. So everybody's hitting your wall. So when you wake up, you just see nothing but algorithm. We was algorithm before this shit, the algorithm was happening. We didn't even know what the fuck but there was algorithm. So when you wake up, you see nothing but the party on the wall. So and that was at the time at Facebook, only way you could talk to somebody was really on a Facebook stat or on a wall.
Yeah.
Like, it was no DM, for real at the time. It was the Pope, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, like, when you conversate, you conversate with a shorty, like, you conversate with her on her wall. Like pause. Like you conversate with her on her wall. Like, you're not really conversating in the DM. So, like, everything is happening right there. So, if you want to talk to somebody, boom, you're seeing it right there. So, now we had a schedule, like, how you had to go to the schools, right? So, like, you have to go to the schools, like, on Tuesday and Thursdays, you at Buff State during Bengal Pause. On Thursday, after you leave Bengal Pause, you're going over UB, and you at UB for the in a union. On Wednesdays, we're gonna be at Canisius. On Mondays, we're gonna be depending on what's happening on campus, we may be one of the small schools like ECC or Medias, something like that. And when you go in there, we hit each, like UB had 2 campuses, right? Mm-hmm. So or whatever. So we start with a dorm. We start from the top down, and we literally go to the top floor. So if it was like a building that had 10 floors. There'll be 10 of us in the elevator. You get off at the 10th, you get off the 9th, and so forth, and you run the whole floor. So you literally go through the whole floor with flyers in your hand, slide them on the doors. If the doors open, you walk in the door and say, "Yo, I want you to come to my party." And that's how you got to know people.
Times is different.
Real guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, so like when you went in there, you had to slide on the door, hit it, and like you're running down the hallway because at the same time you're running because you don't want to get called by an IRA, you don't want to get called by the campus police because they catch you, you're a violation. They're going to take your flyers or they tell you can't come back on campus. So you're going through that. You're running through the campus common areas and you're putting up posters, you rapping poles, you're doing all this different stuff. And you consistently have to do it because now it's guerrilla because like you have other promoters promoting their shit and you're trying to get the right placement. So you might get a couple little hate where somebody takes down a poster or they put yours up here or they put over here. It's like it's constant. It was an all day, every day grind. Like legitly all day, every day grind. So like it was always something like how you had to plan your party. So like like say for instance, school start for the kids like next week, that was like a back to school party, but it was a smaller version. It may have been like at Steel Drums or at a smaller spot,
Drums.
right? But then the back to school party was at the ballroom. So that's the big ticket of the day. So like at that time, during there, it was Class Entertainment and Real Talk Entertainment. They were like rivals. So they were the ones who were battling for the first and the last part. That's the biggest money days, the first and last. So where Crown came in, that was my crew, like, and came and shook shit up. Let's keep that shit. Let's keep that shit up. We came and shook shit up crazy. I never liked to do the first and the last. I'd like to catch them in between. So like I used to like catch them like the third week of September. Third week of September is you getting that tax refund check.
Hey,
right?
come on.
And then catching you like that second week in November, right before you go back to school for Thanksgiving. And that usually was like some type of like what is it? Not Veterans. It's Veterans Day. It's like Veterans Day weekend or something like that. So that's the 2 weeks we used to like to catch them like right there. Then coming out of spring, we used to like to catch them like that. Every now and then would try to catch them maybe that first week in February, but my birthday was in February, so I always like to catch them like Valentine's Day weekend was huge, and then my birthday, and then catch them again the first week in May. So it was like ways you had to catch people in which way, because you had to figure out like who gonna be in school here, who gonna be in school there, and stuff like that. So like it was intense on that, because like how you had to do it, how we was partying, everybody was out. You was not missing shit. You was not missing. You wasn't missing like now you can, I'm cool, I ain't going out for like 2-3 weeks. You're not missing 2-3 weeks in the golden area. You missing 2-3 weeks, you just laming out. Like it's just not happening. You
I'll
missing,
definitely be on that. Nah, I ain't going out this month.
I was outside
like you missing so much. Like you missing on, you missing on shorties, you missing on a lot.
Everything.
You gotta think about it. In college, like you have nothing to do but go to school and party at that point. You have no real responsibility. Right? Your lifestyle is literally 24 hours. Like you go up, you go to class, you messing around on campus to 2-3 o'clock in the morning, you go back to sleep. The most unhealthy lifestyle, you may sleep for a couple hours and you back up and doing it again. You're never sleeping.
That's a fact.
So like a week is really like a month in college. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's crazy because you probably in school at 12 weeks. So like a week is like a month in college, like how much you around people that you normally not around. Mm-hmm. So like you're literally partying we was literally partying all the time. And that's not just here in Buffalo. We was caravanning out to U of R. RIT had their parties in January and so forth like that. Binghamton, they had the gym at the end of the spring semester. Syracuse had their parties. U of Albany had their parties. Then in the summertime, you had the Albany picnic, the Buff picnic. That was just like, and we cared. So like, you going up like, no, we clicking up with the UB boys. You clicking up with the, we literally 10 cars going out at night. We going to RIT, Buffalo in the building. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Now you partying up there. Now we going, and we coming right the fuck back. You know what I'm saying? We partying and coming right the hell back. Yeah. Like I remember we went to they used to call it the Jam. Was it the Jam Fest? It's the last party. It's the last Friday of Binghamton's semester, and that shit go crazy. They had it at. It was like I feel like we walked in like this. The shit looked like we walked in like this fucking tunnel, and.
That's one of my regrets is not being old enough to be able to be.
Yeah, it looked like we walked in like this.
Go to the tunnel.
Yeah, we had to we luckily looked like we walked in like this tunnel, and literally like this party is so amped up that like you had people who didn't really even go to Binghamton, but they went to Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo. We was there, Albany, New York City, all coming to Binghamton, partying. We get done like now we partying till 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're not done at 4. You still mangling and shit like that. I remember my boy drove back. We drove back. They had to be somewhere. We got back in like no lie, like 2 hours. This is Binghamton. Like he flying. Like, and that was just like there. So like you have that, and then like that's just like Buffalo. Yeah. Like now you're going to like now remember the Morgan. Like I'm still going to Morgan. Like I'm still going to visit because I made connections out to Morgan. I'm going out to Morgan for their homecomings and going out just sporadically. They shit is 1,000 times crazier. You know what I'm saying? Like we going 1,000, 1,200 people. We killing them. They looking at them. Like, you killing them. They got 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 motherfuckers coming to their parties. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like crazy. Like so they killing it down there. You got people in Philly. You got people in the city. Like every city that had a college demographic was just insane. Was insane. Like we even did like a spring break trip where like we coordinated where we had students from Buffalo, students from Lincoln University, students from Morgan, Howard, Clark, Atlanta. we literally took a bus. We rented a bus, and a lot of people flew. And we had a bus where they literally picked up students, and we get all the way down to Palm Beach, Florida for BT Spring Break. And then a lot of people flew, so we had a flight package and you had a bus package. So some people left from Atlanta, some people left from like the Northeast, whoever left from like Buffalo and Morgan, we was all on the same bus. Lincoln had their own bus, Atlanta had their own bus, and we all went down to Palm Beach, Florida. Then a lot of people flew, and we recorded that with BT Spring. I got pictures online. We recorded BT Spring. Like everybody was like on the recordings, but they was on the beach, and like that's like Rick Ross at first came out, Wale, Jay Holiday. And then we ended up doing an after party, and everybody pulled up. So like Rick Ross pulled up, Mary J. Blige pulled up, Wale pulled up, Jay Holiday pulled up, Ray J pulled up, Roxy pulled up, DJ Envy pulled up.
That's crazy.
Roxy from 106 in Park?
Yeah.
This like early BT.
Yeah.
Like I seen
I
the
remember
shit.
when you see the Spring Bling commercial?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was nuts like that. So like the golden era was just different. Like it was just different on the sense of like, and it wasn't like yo, we just niggas is wild, but like it was just like it was like a lifestyle. It's so many memories involved with that, like, and at that time too, like I was trying to get to show y'all the pictures from that joint. And at that time, like we was partying.
I was able to see a little bit of like how you supposed to party from just being with my older
It
brothers
was,
and
and that was the crazy. Like it was legit partying.
Nah.
Like you was dancing. Like I'm hot now because there's lighters in front of me. But like you was legit partying. Like you was dancing. Like if you was like how dudes be now, like standing on the wall trying to play cool.
you wasn't
You
getting
wasn't
nowhere.
getting no action, bro. Like none action.
Social media put a fact in that.
you had
too,
to- you
'cause
was
now
getting-
everybody
Yeah,
with their
bro, because
phones.
the cameras be everywhere.
But we had cameras too. It's
Nah, bro, it wasn't cameras
Y'all
everywhere.
cameras wasn't real time. Like
It wasn't cameras
Huh?
everywhere, bro.
Like you got a camera. It's like a recorded thing. It's like the world ain't gonna see it as soon as you done. We got
what you
like,
talking, yo, bro? We talking like we. You seen that thing real? Well, one thing, real time is in the building with you. She ain't at home. You know what I'm saying? She's in the building with you. You know what I'm saying? Like the joints you trying to holler at or the joints you holler at, it's in there with you.
facts. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it's nobody's at home to even watch. So now by the time everybody gets home, that time we didn't have cell phones that had cameras to upload.
it was
we had legit
clear
cameras.
enough to say.
We had Polaroids, you know what I'm saying? Like Polaroids with memory cards. And literally as soon as you got home, you was uploading that joint. By the time everybody got up, they reliving the party again. So now everything that you just did 4 hours ago was right there in front of you on the internet. And like so you had like there's a couple of like photography groups that like literally the party over at 4 o'clock in the morning. We party at 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time we wake up at 8 o'clock, it's online. So everybody's looking at the party again. And everybody's waiting to see the pictures from the night before. Yeah. So you're waking up at 8, 10 o'clock, and then even you wake up at 12, you're waking up at 12, and you're looking at the party again just to get ready for the party that's happening Saturday night. So you may get up out your bed at 10, 12, whatever time you're gonna get up. Then you go into the you getting something to eat, you chilling around, you laying around, you may stop at the mall. Then you're getting ready for the party again. It's happening because you're going to the party at 10 o'clock. The pregame will stop. You're not going to the party at 1 o'clock. If you get to the party at 11 o'clock, it's over. It's over. It's over for you. So it was happening so Chris, like people was dancing. Like you had to know how to dance as a dude to even holla at something. Like you had to get a dub. Like now you get a dub at a spot, people just staring at you like,
Bro, facts.
you know what I'm saying? You get a dub, you feel awkward as hell in this spot. Like you ever want to dance with shorty, like yo, chill, you doing too much. Like,
That shit is crazy.
like back then, like you trying to like, man, I'm about to go over there because ain't nobody over, you know what I'm saying, to get my shit on. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how like
spot
you
on the wall.
We was right in the middle to where like we were dancing and all that stuff, and then like somewhere in college that shit just switched to where like
When Snapchat-
it's 4 people dancing.
Snapchat
That's what it
became
was.
popping. Everybody, you would go to a party, all the lights is off. It feel like it's lights in the party because everybody got their phone out with their flash on.
Well, social media, but
Shout out.
also too like what really killed it was VIPs. That's another factor too. VIPs killed the interaction because now I just want to be in a section. I want to stand on the couch. I want to have my bottles. I really don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm him and stay them and whatever have you. So like now you over there. Now we don't have to intermingle where you go there. There was no VIPs. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the the VIP? We all VIP. The VIP was like okay, like we hanging out over here, like the left side of the ballroom. See, that's a golden era thing. Like if you ask somebody what type of ballroom is, you gonna know what type of time everybody was on. Like if you talk about the Pit, you know what time the Pit is. If you talk about certain spots, if you say like, yo, Mo, you remember Mo? Everybody gonna know what time it was at Mo. You know what I'm saying? Like Northside, everybody gonna know what time it was at Northside. So like, there's certain things like you just say a certain word and everybody gonna know what you're talking about. You know, so like it was
that's going now too, because with social media, bro, everybody got different interpretations of something. It's everybody just coming from like nobody's all on the same page.
Yeah, like, and everybody like want to go to the hot spot. Like so, like now it's like we kind of like caught on to like I don't know that phrase. Like we caught on to like a different way of like how to like party. Like you may start at a spot, then we bar hopping. You know what I'm saying? Like where versus like back then, like back then it was like, all right, I'm going to the party that was been in my face. You know what I'm saying, for the last 2 months. So I'm going to like so right now, I'm going to venue, right? If that was a spot back then, I'm going to venue because everybody's talking about this. I'm not gonna go to this bar to go to this bar to go to this bar to go to this bar and then get the venue. Right? And I'm bouncing around 5 different times. I'm gonna go to the venue, I'm gonna leave out the venue halfway through the party to go to another spot. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody. So like you kinda got that. So like it's a lot of different things, like, but the go there that 06 to 12 was insane.
I believe it.
Yeah.
What just from all of that, just we all experience with party promotions, it's like, and just with the student organizations being able to start setting stuff up. I see how you was able to get into like create the Buffalo Festival, the BeauFleuve joint. So when did that idea come about, and like how did that joint start?
So BeauFleuve actually started well after I got out of the party promotion thing. So I stopped like doing party promotions like 2013. I stopped like really like doing party promotions. Like I was like doing more of like, after that point I was doing more like curation of events, like things that I just like to do, and I'm gonna do it, you know, regardless of the number of people who show up or don't show up. It's just like an idea I want to do, right? So we in year 6 now. So 9 years ago, I actually thought about the idea. I was like, I want to bring something to the town that not really done here, where you can have multiple different stages, well-known acts that can come in here and really just shine, you know what I'm saying, and create a platform for us. Like something like what you're seeing, like what's happening with the OVO Festival or with the Roots Picnic, where like, you know, if you ever heard of the Roots Picnic, like a lot of those artists are based out of like Philadelphia, right? Like, and they always want to come back and perform regardless if they on top or they not on top, or like OVO, he puts on for Canada. So like this thing, like we have so many rising artists, curators, musicians, and so forth coming from Buffalo and Western New York, that like as they continue to ascend, is that they always circle and say like, I got to be a part of this because this is for us, you know what I'm saying? So with curating that in mind, started it 6 years ago, and now we here, and it's been a great journey, and I was able to learn a lot from the party promotion. I was able to learn a lot from Ballin' for Cause and Queen City Class. Like you'll be surprised, like when you dealing with like a fest, you're dealing with a lot of different moving parts and how to get people to move and what gets people to move and so forth. So you're learning from each and every different part of like operational side, and marketing side, and so forth, that helps you put this thing together. So, and then also tapping back into my growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in different sets. I was able to connect with other people. It wasn't just black people. I was able to connect with whites, Hispanics, you know what I'm saying, natives, because I was always around us. I know what music they like to hear and what gets them to want to come out and what they families like. So like that's what I was able to make this melting pot, and this understanding that Buffalo is this very diverse city, but at the same time, very segregated city. So we can build a bridge through the arts, the bridge our community. Let's do it. This is it right here. So like, just stand on the pillars of diversity is the biggest thing that we stand on. It's like, so like coming to the event, you're gonna see multitude of different ages, ethnic backgrounds, national, you know, everything just there because it's all welcoming. It's not like, hey, we just hip hop, we just R&B. And for like the first 2-3 years, like I made sure that I was like in the background per se. Like I don't want people to know out that, you know, I was black. Yeah. Because then you was gonna label it. You was gonna label it like this. I'm hot as shit. I'm about to take this joint.
It's all good.
Like you gonna label like
Take your time.
Yeah, you gonna this is how this shit like got me cooked right now. So you gonna you gonna label it. I just know how the Buffalo market, like you gonna label it like, oh, this some black shit.
Yeah.
Like now I want you to catch like the vision, and then you gonna know who did it. Cause now that's gonna really fuck you up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you'd be surprised to see people's faces like, You behind this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, huh? And it be fucked. And it is great because, like, yeah, like, we creators too. Like, and really, like, we're the creators of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's
real,
no knock
for
to
real.
nobody else that's involved in this, but, like, I don't want you to get stuck on your personal prejudices or whatever have you and miss the message.
Facts.
So I put the message out in front of me where I could have just came out and been like, yo, this is Lindsey doing this festival, and that could have been tied to me. But I'm also thinking about longevity as well, too. Is like, this has a succession plan, and that's another thing. But, like, at some point, this has to go to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, right now I'm pioneering, but, like, this has to go to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So that somebody else can take that to the next level.
So, and you spoke on how the diversity of the Buffalo Festival, and I know you're familiar with real estate. So can you speak on, like, what redlining is, and, like, in the sense of real estate, and how it happens, like, in cultures and, like, music type stuff?
Yeah, they both the same.
Okay.
So, like, in redlining and real estate, just in the lamest thing is that at the time, this has been a historical, systematic thing that's been happening, is that financial institutions, banks, lenders, will literally go on the map and redline certain neighborhoods and say that they would not finance those neighborhoods. And those neighborhoods would be for neighborhoods that suited black families and minority families. So when that practice was done, if you ever, The Color of Law is a book to really read on redlining, and Buffalo is actually mentioned in that. So Buffalo mentioned several times in The Color of Law. Outside of
I got that on my book list too.
Yeah, you got to get it. It's a great read. So, like, several different plays in cities, like, where, even from, like, San Francisco was a part of that, and a lot of different places in Florida and Texas, pretty much throughout the whole entire country, right? Whereas though, like, you even had standpoints where, like, military people who were serving in wars for our country would come back home and they couldn't buy homes in certain areas, but the people they fought wars could buy homes in certain areas. Whereas though, like, people who were working in factories, they were redlined, they would not be able to qualify or be able to get financing to buy a home near the factory, right? So say, for instance, we had the Tri-Man building, they would have to drive 20, 30 minutes outside of the city to get a house, but then all the other white workers can live right next to the Tri-Man, right? So there was a lot of different ways how they played it. You even had things where, like, you did have some white people who were trying to help, black people. They would basically front for them, like, front to them, like, I'm about to buy this, but then really move their black friend in. When that was found out, it's a movie on that. Oh, is it The Banker? I think it's Is it The Banker? I think it's called The Banker. It's actually a movie on it. And the white person would get, like, sometimes they just get a, like, slap on the wrist, but sometimes they would get in more trouble. But the black person would get in deep shit. For doing that, right? So you had situations like that, or it went to another, like, volatile situation where you had, like, groups literally coming to the home and throwing firebombs in the house to try to scare them out of the house. You know what I'm saying? So you had stuff like that, right? So, like, that's a red line that just literally they literally went on to a map and literally drew a red line on the map and said we were not financing these areas. So that's literally what redlining was. And you had many of the banking institutions that we see today, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, were, like, two pillars into that redlining, and they try to, like, change their practices, but some of those practices are still in today. Now we talking about, like, culture standpoint, is not a literal map, but you have situations where there's, like, these certain groups will, like, if I see it and I'm getting more of it now. I'm getting more, like, better at getting the support now. But, like, if no bullshit, if I was a different color skin, the type of support I would have been getting out the gate would have been 10 times more than what I was getting, right? Because of the color of my skin, I had to bust my ass for 6 years to get this type of support, coinciding with a lot of civil shit that's happening, George Floyd's, and a lot of different things. A lot of injustice that's happening. We're like, now we have to do something great, for the black community, and these black and brown community. We've been doing great shit. Yeah, just ain't want to getting behind it, right? Like, so that you have it in that standpoint, like with grant writing. You hear from grant writers with the galleries, right? Where how they let certain artists get inside of the galleries and certain artists can't get inside of the galleries, right? And that happens, right? We actually had a sit down talk with several prominent Black artists from Western New York, and they talked about some of the discrepancies within that, right? Just access to funding, access to venues,
That's one of the biggest
That's a
issues
big
here.
one.
Is access
So you
to venues.
so you have a lot of those injustices and so forth like that happening just within the culture standpoint. So it's happening. Yeah.
Word. Can you name some of the sponsors, some of the people who stepped up and supported you in this year's 7th annual?
Yeah. We have a lot of great sponsors. This year, we have Patron Tequila is one of our bigger sponsors this year. Councilmember Mitch Nowakowski, Legislator Howard Johnson, Legislator April Baskin, Senator Tim Kennedy, several of the council members Scaling, Farrelletto, Rivera, Evergreen Health, Bank on Buffalo, Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus is one, Birchville Penny Yard, Albright Knox, Community Health Center of Buffalo, Buffalo State Fashion and Textile Department. Trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. She'll be good.
Nah, that's fire.
So maybe describe like the experience or what's going to be going on at the festival this year, or like the past years for people who haven't been able to attend.
Yeah, so it's a lot of different. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of interaction, a lot of activations that are happening. So what you'll see when you come this year, and if you haven't been in the past couple years, is that we have 3 musical stages that's happening. So we have 3 performance stages that have 25 acts performing throughout the day. So they're all rotating performances throughout the day that's happening. You have art exhibits and art installations that are happening through a rising and prominent local artists, from live paintings to interactive paintings to just installations that are happening. You also have our Vendors Village, which has over 20 plus local businesses and entrepreneurs, promoting their business. You have our beer and wine tent. Don't Watch TV True V is doing a exhibition with Oxford Pennant. We have a variety of different photo installations. We have Cozy Up Buffalo. They're doing an igloo tent that's gonna have like some furniture inside for you to kick out and chill in, air conditioned tent. We have the White Bounce House, very Instagrammable shit. The photo booths. We have the Silent Disco tent, which is like our fan favorite. You have some of our other activations, like we have Hill Hot Girl, which is a meditation and a yoga activity that's gonna happen in the front part of the day from 2 to 3:30. We have curated stages by Sneak Vibin' with Sandra. Also, Tony Boy has a curated stage where they be doing like different interviews and special guest performances during the early part of the day. We like to give those to like podcasts or curated spaces that are hot during that year, and kind of just give them that space. You know what I'm saying? To kind of introduce that media row, which y'all a part of, where we have several different media outlets that as artists coming off stage, or as people through the spaces there. We have the Patron Bar. We have the several different art that's happening just on the street. You just gotta come. It's a lot, man. Like it's a lot that's going on. I'm just trying to make sure I'm hitting every day and make sure anybody missing nothing. But it's a lot of interactives. It's a great day. We at the Buffalo Central Terminal. We own a great lawn space, so you're able to bring your blankets, your lawn chairs, as long as they don't have the stenches on it. Kick it out with your family, chill, be on the hill if you want to be on the hill. Which people love. The people automatically went right to the hill, which is like looking down. Just family friendly. Our vendors is great. This is just a great family friendly day. Yeah.
Now, how do you go about picking and finding the performers or the artists?
Yeah. So that's the good question. So we it's intricate process that we do. So like a lot of it comes with like scouting. So like I really doing like the fall, early winter. I really just look and see, who's bubbling, who's hot, who's brandable, who's marketing, stuff like that. And kind of just trying to see where the vision wants to go for that year, as far as that lineup, right? A lot of also some of it is off a referral, like, hey, yo, did you ever hear about this artist over here? Did you ever hear about this artist over here? So we have quite a bit of that, and then some of it is submission, right? So I will say, like, the biggest thing, like, that we look at, like, when we are trying to select artists is that, like, how do you brand and market yourself, right? Because this festival is built around regional talent and rising talent. So, like, what we always been, like, what we stand on is that, like, the people that what you're coming to see now, literally in 6 months to a year, they're gonna be on a different stage in a bigger space. So, like, you're literally seeing them before they blow. And every year that has happened, right? So last year, we had Danielle Ponder, who was one of our performers last year. Just in May, she was on Seth Meyers. She's on these huge tours. She has a billboard in Times Square. She's from Rochester, New York. She just was on our stage last year. You got Jay Skis, obviously, who's with drum work, right? And that's just, I'm just picking up some, like, the info. Like, we had Benny the Butcher in 2018. Just 6 months after that's when he signed the Rock Nation deal. Vizela Joy is one of our artists 1 year, and then a few months, not even like 6 months after that, she had the infamous Beyonce Coachella performance where she opened up the show, and she's been Beyonce's drummer for the last almost 10 years. Right. You had Zuri Appleby, and she's been on a number of different national tours, but more recently with Lizzo. She's opened up several of those performances. So when you see, like, I just saw this just like here, like last year in Buffalo. So, like, and that's just like skimming the top. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about the Eric Van Holtens or the Million Other Centers. We're not talking about the Billy Escos. We're not talking about the Don't Watch TV, Chewy V, where, he's working with ASAP Rocky and
Haji World.
So, like, just that type of, like, element. Like, so, like, you're not coming to see a talent, so you're coming to see actual talent. Word. That you actually going, oh, okay, like, I'm coming to see, like, okay, he up. And that's the thing, is like, yeah, we could do like us bringing this big act, right? Then we take away from everything. Now it becomes the whatever concert, and not BeauFleuve, right? Yeah. I want it to be about BeauFleuve, where, like, you're gonna catch the next wave. This is the next wave right here. And that's just saying, like, these 25 acts, but, like, this is a representation of what's here. And I truly believe, like, where Buffalo's at with its resurgence, like, yo, like, real talk, like, yo, we the new Motown. When you look across the landscape of the variety and genres that we have just here regionally, right? You can touch any genre of music regionally, and you can pluck from indie, from alternative, from rock and roll, from country to jazz to hip hop to rap to gospel. You can literally pluck anybody out. Yep. And you can match them against any other body talent-wise. It's gonna go crazy. And just seeing where the doors are being opened in different sectors, and the eyes and attention that's on here, man, in due time, you got to think, what was Detroit before? Detroit was just an industrial city, just like we were. So, and it peeled off, and now you had all these different people traveling to Detroit to want to knock on that Motown door.
Right. Yeah, man. Nah, yeah. You put that beautifully. Well, one thing too, you picked like an historical location to have this festival. Can you speak on what made you pick that location? And is it, you're on the board for the Grand Terminal?
Yeah.
Can you speak on picking that location and how, like, you became a part of the board?
Yeah. So, everything works in, like, a divine connection and all, like, full circle. So, for the first 4 years, we actually at Silo City. So being at Silo City is historical in itself, right? So Silo City and also at the terminal are two pillars to Buffalo's quote unquote heyday, right? When Buffalo was booming back in the early 1900s to the mid 1900s, Silo City and the terminal had a huge part into that, right? Those two historical places, those two places, if you just put them by themselves, is the reason why Buffalo what it was back then. Just those two places.
Sixth biggest city in the nation.
Sixth biggest city in the nation, right? So just those two in itself. So with that being said, so when we was at Silo City, I was actually doing a community presentation of a culture center at UB on the east side of Buffalo for BeauFleuve, and I'm doing it in front of, like, a room full of community stakeholders, And a gentleman by the name of Kyle Stempowski stands up and says, "Have you ever thought about bringing BeauFleuve to the Central Terminal?" I was taken back. And the whole room was like you just felt the room was like gas. He just asked us, like, I'm like, I was like stunned, like, yeah. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So that happened. That happened like almost 3 years ago. This is 2019. He did that. So we started having conversations in 2019 about bringing it to the Central Terminal. So we were going to do the 2019, finishing out the 2019 year at Silo City, and we were thinking about doing 2020 at a terminal, but then COVID was happening. So we at the same time still was having this great relationship with Silo City. But I thought it would also be really great to do year 5 at this new space, right? Because we were already at year 3 at that point in time. So, which all worked out because now Silo City is going through this whole redevelopment that's happening down there at Silo City, which, we had some intricate parts with that, as far as like, giving some ideas in regards to that, as far as the artist and music side of things. So going with the terminal, the biggest thing, like, so the contrast to is that you have this event that's promoting the resurgence of artists and music and culture from this area, and the backdrop is this historical staple that was at that time. So like you have these two contrasts, like this historical statement, and at the same time we're making history. Like BeauFleuve is the first event of its kind to ever be held at the Central Terminal. From the time of his erection in 1928 to 2022, there's never been an event of its kind held at the terminal on its grounds. So that's historical in its own right. And it's crazy because like I actually was going through a box of like photos. Like, we don't do photos no more. You remember your mom used to do Polaroid photos, and now she has a whole photo album. I was going through some photos, and there was a picture just of the Central Terminal itself in the box of photos. That's crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy to see that. It was just the terminal. And then now I have this picture. I think I was doing some type of media, and I'm standing in that same exact spot where that picture was taken from the terminal behind me. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Dope. Yeah.
So how'd you end up sitting on the board?
So that just came just building relationships with them. So I'm part of the branding and marketing committee with the board. So they took a lot into my viewpoints and my insight onto the community, being engaged with that, also being engaged, culturally activated, and then just like just having this new energy, this new spirit. So they really took really well into it, and that was just really how the invitation happened.
You have any joints that you want? I did. Keep it like one or two.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so first thing I want to touch upon, because earlier in the conversation you was talking about like how you play all the sports, right? Mm-hmm. And you mentioned golf, and it was just crazy because just earlier today I was talking to somebody about the saying, if you want to cut a deal, you need to learn how to play golf.
Right.
So my question to you is, have you ever been able to cut a deal by playing a game of golf?
Nah, not yet.
I needed to know it because I'm like, all the stuff you're doing, I'm like, this man play golf. Ain't no way.
Not yet.
I used to hear that. Do you think that's still true?
Yeah, it's still true. It's still true. But I will say this is that you have to be able to, and the saying is like, and it is true, like the money is made the golf course. You got to think about who are at the golf courses, right? Yeah. And who has time to be at the golf courses, right? Your average 9-to-5 worker is not going to be at the golf because he got to be at the office.
Yeah. The
decision maker is going to be at the golf course because he can sit back and people are reporting to him. So that's why those type of people are being had. But also at the same time, everything can be done over drink, over lunch, over coffee, whatever have you. It's just about how you, like people say the corny saying like your network is your network. That's true. It is true, right? But it's how you work it, and it's how you work. How you put. I think. Stop here. You have to be genuine and authentic whatever you do. And once you become genuine and authentic whatever you do, then those partnerships and those people that's around, it's going to just naturally pull to you. Right. Right. And then you will get invited to those spaces. You're going to get invited to the Buffalo clubs. You're going to get been invited to those spaces. You're going to get invited to the golf course. You're going to get invited to the dinners. You're going to get invited to the galas. You're going to get invited to those spaces to then nurture that relationship with them. And that's how it happens. Yeah.
All right, so only two more and now yeah.
You
So
good,
you
yeah.
talked about coaching the youth, right? Earlier I was just telling Nelson, like I work with students in our university. They like 18, 19, so they're a little different. They're a little
Right.
at their ways already. What's an important characteristic you need to have to really work with the youth? Because today, you know, they a little different from
Yeah.
you know when we was.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like when you got to be patient.
I knew he was gonna say.
Yeah.
You got to be
knew it.
patient. You got to be patient because like these kids is different. You know what I'm saying? Like I got 3 daughters and but these kids is different. Like I was saying like earlier, like they don't be outside.
Just
You know what I'm saying? So like just like they social dynamic is just off. You know what I'm saying?
a fact.
Like how they maneuver in public and how they interact in public, they just all because they don't be outside. And then like you gotta think about like now like they got reprogrammed again.
Yep.
They sat down for 2 years.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like now they got reprogrammed again to sit down for 2 years. So now you're like, damn, like now you got to get them out of like that programming. So now that's a whole fight. And then really, it's not even the kids; it's their damn parents. So it's the parents. Like, and I jokingly say this. 'Cause I love all my parents, right? That I do it. Is that it's somewhere between I want to say like 48 and like 56. Them parents is different. Somewhere between there.
That's bad.
They different. Cause I just like my parents aren't old, but like I grew up where like you was in fear that your mom might say something to my mom about how we was cutting up, right?
Yeah.
I might be in fear of your mom saying something to me about how we was cutting up, just as much as if my parent was to say something to you, right? It was just that level of respect and so forth like that. Parents now is like, why did you say something to my kid? What did my kid do? My kid ain't do nothing wrong. Like it's like this defense mechanism. It's like not taking accountability for certain things.
Right.
This what's the word I'm looking for? This entitlement that they give a lot of the kids now. Like there's a sense of entitlement. Like my kid deserves to be playing. My kid deserves to be in this room. Did your kid earn the right to be in this room? You know, and a lot of it I think comes from like where parents haven't necessarily been able to do that themselves, so they're trying to live. Some of them try to live vicariously through
They
their
kids.
children.
Yep.
But that age of that parent of the age of that those elders with accountability, with discipline, with correction from others has fallen to the wayside big time. It's like as a parent, like you be sometimes shook to like say something to your kid because you don't know if somebody overhear you, you might have CPS knocking at your door. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I think you have that where you have that balance. You got to be patient. You got to understand the parents, how to maneuver around them, and then like just the reprogramming of it all. Like these kids are smart. They're smart. You know what I'm saying? Like on a different level, like technology and marketing. Like my nephew, like he knows how to like break your iPhone down and build it back up. He's 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter, who's been owning her own business since she's been 5 years old and knows how she went like, and I did nothing like just say, you got to figure this out. And she's figuring it all out, you know, along the way. So like they know how to like get to it. You know, as far as like they have Google and social media in front of them. You know what I'm saying? We have encyclopedias.
Yeah, man, that's right.
That's it.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to tap in on?
I'm good.
You just give the details for the festival just one last time before we wrap up.
Yeah. All right, so I got to get in that. Sunday, August 28th, BeauFleuve Music and Arts Festival. It's going down Buffalo Central Terminal. You can get your tickets right now, your pre-sale tickets. You get your single ticket, or you can get the Herd Pack. The Herd Pack is buy 3, get 1 free. Right, so that's going down right now for your families, or you get the single ticket. You can't purchase at the gate, but it's only going to be a limited amount. And the pre-sale ticket is almost sold out, so you can go to my BeauFleuveMusicArts.com or Ticket Taylor.
Appreciate
And also, I forgot to mention, we have a whole weekend. It's a whole week. It's not just a festival. Thursday's the comedy show, Laugh a Little comedy show featuring Terry King, Yolanda Smiles, Ree Marine, Gary Wallace. Friday, we're doing a happy hour at the Rose Bar with friends in partnership with Creative Mornings Buffalo. Saturday is our softball classic. My team versus my boy Berto team. We have our VIP reception later. which are honoring several community members: Kelly Atkinson, Daniel Roberts, the Kyrie Singletary, and the Wadjet family, along with our high school scholarship recipients. That's at Seneca 1, and the Sunday's the big dance, big celebration, the big dance at the Central Terminal.
Yes, sir. If you haven't been to the Rose Bar yet, go check that out.
Yes. Shout out Lisa and Chris.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you pulling up, bro.
Appreciate y'all, fellas. Yep.
No Label the Pod. We out.
Peace.